Hi, I'm Joe, and with me is Layomi from the Rebel video team, and we're joined by Christopher Fenn. He's been in the Royal Navy for 8 years now, and although it's Movember, there's been a lot of mental health awareness for men. In recent years, you go on Instagram, you can see posts like, it's okay to cry, and yet last year we had a 20-year high in male suicides. And so we have to question ourselves how we got to this point. And you're in the military, and I feel that the military have stereotypes of being like strong and brave, and so does the stereotypes of men as well. But also these stereotypes can be quite damaging. Do you see that in the military?
So I think the stereotypes probably still do exist to a level, but I think we've been really quick to try and target it. And I say really quick. We've not been really quick. The military were the first to realise about men's mental health way back, and we just didn't call it mental health. When you look at shell shock back in the wars,
Yeah.
that was us very quickly realising that men's mental health should have been talked about, and it's taken us a while. But what's been really good to see, I think, is we've got people now who are willing to stand up and say, I'm struggling. And I think when that happens, it means that other people take note. Now, this comes from a credibility perspective as well. So it's quite funny sitting kind of in the military and then also seeing what's on social media, because you sometimes get people who look at what the military's putting out and then go, is that really what we want? I can remember the army put out an advertising campaign saying, snowflakes, we want you. And the new campaign's all about self-confidence, and actually joining the British Army will give you a confidence that will last a lifetime. And I agree with that. But what we've done is back that up with people who are in front and centre in the media who can go, do you know what, actually, I might have struggled. And who's doing that? So the Channel 4 do that series, SAS, Who Dares Wins. The guys on that like Ant Middleton, who have been in the SAS conducting very, very gritty operations, and is willing to put his hand up and say, yeah, I might be one of the toughest 0.001% of people in the world to do what I do in the SAS, but I've still had trouble with my mental health. And I think that's where we're getting to, and we're getting better. And I think it's about what is the modern man. That's the tough bit.
How would you define as what a man is? As you said there, obviously the army, the military has an idea of what like a manly man should be like, but obviously through the years now and now becoming more aware of your mental health and stereotypes, what's your definition of what a man should be?
So I think first of all we have to be adaptive.
I think
the modern man needs to be adaptive. The modern man, the modern world is crazy. The threats you face are all over the place, and I think a lot of it, if we take it back down to that very basic warfare level, kicking doors down. The days of kicking doors down, although there's still a need for it at times. Well, you can do more damage sat behind a laptop.
And you said about like kicking doors down and stuff. So do you feel we're changing what we see as strength in a way? So sort of that idea of mental strength and sort of the ability to talk is seen more as being strong now than kicking doors down, for example?
I think so. I think it's more about how we do warfare. There's a big change. Now, there is still the need for infantry soldiers, and that will always prevail. There's only so much you can do from distance. But I'm Navy, so take what I do, for example, sat in a destroyer, 250 of us off the coast somewhere. Well, most of what we do is not about kicking a door down. If we want to unleash violence, for example, use the weapon systems on board, it's the press of a button. That doesn't take much to do. Anyone could do it. A child could press that button. So therefore, it's about, okay, well, what is it that makes this function? What is it that's important? And actually, it's about getting the best out of the team. And therefore, when you go away for a long time, and it's been really interesting in lockdown, my military friends and I think, are coping a lot better than the wider population, because we're used to it. It's my friend's a submariner, and the nuclear deterrent patrols, the ones that carry our nuclear weapons on behalf of the country, the continuous at-sea deterrent. Those guys are away for 4 months, underwater, no communication with the outside world.
What key points do you think that the wider population could learn from the military? What do you think makes you cope better?
It's really dull and it's really boring, but it's regimented programs and systems. It is. So, for example, on board that submarine, they know what day of the week it is by what you're having for food. Because in the submarine world, you do 6-hour watches. So you'll do 6 hours on, 6 hours off. And your 6 hours off, you don't always get that off to sleep. You have other stuff to do. That 6 hours is based at a console. And you do that for 4 months, 6 on, 6 off, 4 months. So you can lose track of days because there's no light because you're all under the water. So, for example, lunchtime on a Friday is fish and chips because that's the law. That is the Navy system. On a Friday, you will have fish and chips at lunchtime. On a Thursday night, you'll have a curry or something. So, Saturday night, it's steak night. And therefore you get into a system. We all get up at the same time. That watch system, we all get up at the same time. You get up with your watch, you go to work. And I think, and I'm seeing kind of on social media, lots of students seem really to struggle at the minute with kind of home learning. And I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. But that, distance learning is proving difficult. Well, I think what you almost need to do is you need to go, okay, I start work or I start learning at 9 in the morning. And I will do this for an hour and a half, and then I have this lecture, and then I have that. And you then program when your lunch is, and then you program in when you do exercise, and then you can program in when you're allowed to sit and watch TV. And if you do that, you tend to very quickly find that you get a 15 to 16 hour day that you've packed out with stuff you need to do. And then you do that, and then you go to bed. Then you get up the next day and you go again. So
for you, stepping away from the military aspect of it, how do you find coping with mental days where you feel like down days or days where you just feel, I'm just not feeling it, or this is getting a lot for me. How do you deal with days like that, and who do you turn to, especially when you're away for that long?
I think so. The first bit is accepting they're allowed. My mate lives in Canada, and they are duvet days. The mental health day system's great, so you can just phone up work in the morning and be like, "Look, I'm having a duvet day. I'm not coming in." And I think you're like 5 a year or something like that. But I think that's really important. The ability to just accept that, you know what, sometimes you do just get out of bed and it's just not happening that day. And you get to 10 o'clock and you're on your 4th coffee and you're still not feeling any better. And you're just like, you know what, I'm sick of this. So I think accepting that those days happen is really, really important. And it's that awareness, and it becomes kind of hyper self-vigilance of knowing, why am I feeling like this? What is it that's upsetting me? Is it, so for me, 99.99% of the time, if I'm having a rubbish day, it's because I've not slept well the night before. It's always tiredness. Tiredness is one of those things that gets to you. And it's one of the big things that we routinely at work kind of pick up on people is tiredness causes issues, because people then start to withdraw and then they start to get further back, and then that causes more problems. So I think, recognizing those bad days happens, the first bit. Then you can kind of do one or two things, and I kind of use both. Sometimes I'm like, do you know what? I'm having one of those days where I'm like, I'm going to read my book, I'm going to watch Netflix, I'm going to go to bed, and I can't do that at work, obviously, but if I'm at home, then I can do that. The other bit is sometimes just to have a bit of a talk to yourself, and just be like, do you know what? No, stop this nonsense. There's nothing actually wrong with you. And then exercise for me, and I think most of the military exercise is a massive part of that. I play rugby as well, and I'm really missing the camaraderie of a squad. But what we do is we've got the WhatsApp group chat, and therefore when you go a run, screenshot your Strava, get it into the group chat, and everybody else is like, well done, keep that going, that's really good, can't wait to see you again. And those sort of networks really build up. But I think sometimes we do. I'm all up for, we need to talk about mental health, and we need to sometimes accept that days are crap, and sometimes that just happens. But what we can't shy away from is sometimes just having to have a long, hard chat with ourselves and going, do you know what? Get your backside off the couch and move.